Welcome to the Holistic Wealth Podcast. I'm your host, Keisha Blair, wife, mother of three, author of Holistic Wealth, and founder of the Institute on Holistic Wealth. The show will showcase various experts in the key pillars of holistic wealth. Each week, we deliver the best information on how to become holistically wealthy and live your best life. Today, we have a special solo episode, which is exciting. We have a solo episode today on holistic healing. It's such an important topic, given that we're in a fourth wave of COVID-19 and we're fighting this Omicron variant. So many people are worried about their health, their well-being, their wellness. They're worried for their families. And of course, there's so many people out there facing grief from the loss of loved ones, and grief from the loss of a job due to COVID-19, and grief due to many different secondary losses that we've all collectively had during this pandemic. So it's a wonderful time to talk about holistic healing because it's so needed during this time. So I just want to state here before we go on that this podcast is sponsored by the Institute on Holistic Wealth. And if you visit the website at www.instituteonholisticwealth, you'll find a range of resources and courses. And one of the courses is holistic healing. And I developed that course based on my experience. And I'm going to get into that right now. It's a wonderful course, so you should check it out. So if we think about holistic healing, lots of different things come to mind. You know, we think about massage therapy, physiotherapy, acupuncture, meditation, a whole range of holistic healing practices. But first, I want to get into what is holistic healing? What exactly are we talking about when we say holistic healing? So I've defined it as a method of healing that focuses on the whole person, and that includes the mind, body, spirit, emotions, physical health. So it's really one core aspect of holistic wealth. And you know, in my book, Holistic Wealth, I talk a lot about my personal healing journey. As a matter of fact, in the book, and you know that we have the new and expanded version that's available for pre-order now. But in that book, there's an entire section that's titled Physical and Spiritual Nourishment. And there's also another section of the book, like a whole part, that speaks to intentional life purpose, goodwill, and relationships. And there's so much wrapped up in holistic healing in that book. As a matter of fact, if you were to take out the section on financial independence, the rest of it would be almost a primer on holistic healing. And so this is why I think it's amazing that we can discuss this on the Holistic Wealth podcast, because I've had my own personal journey of holistic healing. And so for many of you who don't know my story of being widowed at a very young age, at 31, just 8 weeks after I gave birth to my second child, I went on a journey of holistic healing after that tragedy took place. My husband died very suddenly. It was unexpected, and it was from a very rare illnesses. So we had no answers as to the cause. It was very traumatic. And so my journey of holistic healing is outlined throughout the book in several different ways, but it's outlined through that 1 year sabbatical where I really took a systems perspective to my own healing. And it encompassed that holistic healing journey because I focused on my mind, my body, my spirit, my emotions in order to heal. And so I've developed this framework from my own personal journey. And it's amazing that we can go through this together now because I haven't had the chance to before. And I'm so grateful for that. And of course, we've heard about the mental health struggles during this pandemic. So even if we think about the mental aspects of it, so many people have gone through grief. And even if you haven't lost a loved one, you're going through a secondary loss, probably, whether it's, that loss of getting together with friends or, loss of a job or a divorce or grief, whatever it is, we have to absolutely win the battle in our mind before we can win the battle anywhere else. And so we absolutely have authority to cast down negative thoughts. And those are strongholds that we absolutely have to tackle when you're going through grief or any type of loss, any type of secondary loss. It's easy to have that victim mindset. And I talk about that in my book, Holistic Wealth, a lot. It's easy to be trapped in a cycle in your mind where you keep telling yourself, oh my gosh, I'm such a victim. Why is this happening to me? Over and over again, replaying the event again and again. And the script keeps replaying. And we know when we're heading down that rabbit hole. So we know when we can stop it. And in my book, I talk about flipping the script. You know when that unraveling begins in your mind, right? When you start to think about the tragedy, or you start to think about what happened at work, or you start to think about that divorce, and all of a sudden it leads you down the rabbit hole again and again and again. But I'm telling you, we all have the power to stop it and to nip it in the bud and to then flip that script. So we think about something more positive, more uplifting, something that brings us joy, and just to channel that gratitude, which is also important. So winning that battle in the mind, because the mind is a battlefield, and taking authority over negative thoughts is important. And the heart itself is an environment for negative thoughts because it all begins with our emotions, right? That loss of a loved one, that divorce, that chronic illness that just crept out of nowhere, that job loss. You know how you felt unrecognized, and all of that begins in the heart. And the reason why we have to recognize that is because that's where the emotions start. The hurt, the pain, the loss, the regret, the unraveling. It all starts in the heart. And so we have to get a hold of our emotions there and really, really try our best to not get lost and not let our emotions control everything. And then, of course, there's the mind. And that's where the battlefield is. And that's where we have to now apply ourselves intentionally. You know, in the book, I talk about living intentionally by design. And so we each have 60,000 thoughts per day. I have this in the book. Can you imagine? And every thought we have to control, every thought we have to try to be intentional every single day about thinking about the things that we want to cultivate in our hearts and in our minds. And so when we talk about holistic healing, we're talking about healing in our mind and our heart, healing our bodies in terms of nourishing our bodies, well with the food that nourishes us, and also taking care through exercise, through hobbies, things like that, and really good food. And when I went on my sabbatical, and all of this is in the book, I took a systems perspective to my healing. I ate organically. I created my own recipes. I hiked in the mountains. I meditated every morning for like 3 hours. I got up. You'll see it all in the book when you purchase it. But this is really a systems perspective and dedicating your heart, your mind, your body, your soul to healing. And you can absolutely do it. I speak from experience, so I know that you can. And it's so amazing. In the book, there's part 3 in the book, which talks about physical and spiritual nourishment. And when we talk about spiritual self-renewal, when we talk about the spiritual aspect of holistic healing, which is so important to renew ourselves daily, because I came up with this framework, the 4 laws of spiritual self-renewal, and I wrote an article on that. You can Google it. It's on Thrive Global. It's called the 4 Spiritual Laws of Self-Renewal. And it's also in my book. It's outlined and further fleshed out in the book. And there's a whole chapter on it. And every single day, it's important to renew ourselves. So whether it's through prayer and meditation, whether you do that by yoga, taking a walk, it's important to renew and refresh and start again and see every day as a new day for a new beginning, a new chance, a new hope, and renew that hope and motivation to keep it alive, to keep you going through difficult times. So it's important to, not dwell on the past, but focus on the present, not worry about the future either. So let's not even worry about what's going to happen next year, what's going to happen at the end of 2022. Let's just focus on the present. Focus on the small joys that we have today. And so that's also part of it in terms of holistic healing. And of course, I can't get through everything during this podcast episode, even though I would love to. And so that's why we have the course that's available on the Institute on Holistic Wealth website that I really want you to check out. And some of this is also covered in the certification program, which is the Institute's signature program. It's called the Certified Holistic Wealth Consultant Program, and that's part of it. And, if you become certified, then you can help your clients with this as well, because we arm you with the framework for that. And so one of the other things that's so important is your intuition. So on my sabbatical, I started tuning in to my intuition like never before. I didn't realize that I had this gift and that my intuition was this gift. I was so busy before, my husband died with climbing the corporate ladder and making a career and starting a family, that I really didn't even realize what a gift I had with my intuition. And it was taking that pause and taking that sabbatical and really engaging in lots of prayer and meditation. And that's the thing. Like, I prayed a lot, meditated a lot, and really searched for answers on my purpose. And I said, what's my purpose? What am I here to do? And now it's very plain to me that I'm doing it right now, even as I speak to you. But at that point, I, like many others, wondered about that, right? I went through that phase. And it's amazing that I'm here to tell you that you can absolutely discover it and live life authentically, in a way that's authentic to you, in a way that you can achieve that happiness and that joy. So just going back to intuition now, and I'm going to just go back to the chapter on intuition and holistic wealth. And once you get the book too and go through it and register for the course, you'll dive even deeper. And so intuition is this very, very important concept. And it's something that is so important to me personally. And it's such an important part of holistic wealth. It's a catalyst for holistic wealth. Your intuition is a catalyst for holistic wealth. And that's the line for the book. And so what is intuition? Intuition is our inner wisdom. It's that little voice that speaks to us. It's the quiet voice that is hard to hear if you're not used to tuning into it. But it speaks through our dreams, or spontaneously as thoughts, hunches, or gut feelings. It can be a strong urge, a physical sensation, or it can be through memories. And so while I was on sabbatical, I started tuning into my intuition. When I mentioned to you a while ago that I got up early in the mornings and I started my prayer and my meditation routine, well, I did that. And tuning into my intuition helped me overcome my grief. It really did. I had a feeling of being tapped in. It was as if my intuition was in overdrive. I became hyper creative and started to pursue the things that I had only dreamed of when I was a child. They were my childhood dreams that I started exploring, things that I didn't have a chance to explore even during my adulthood, like my writing, which I did and developed this framework. It was through my intuition that I developed this holistic wealth framework. So that's the importance of sabbatical. And I've written several articles now that you can find online about the importance of your intuition. And I later realized that if I followed my intuition, I would start to make better decisions, have better results overall. And some of the most important decisions that I've made personally have come through tuning into my intuition. Now, I have to say that this has to be coupled with prayer and meditation. It absolutely has to be. And I wholeheartedly believe, as someone who's very spiritual as well, that prayer is the foundation of everything. And you want to be able to harness that and engage in that to really overcome whatever crisis you're faced with, overcome whatever challenges come your way. And with that, you'll get answers. You'll get answers to life's biggest problems through prayer. And it's amazing what you can accomplish through that. And of course, I have an entire chapter in the book on prayer, so you can go check that out. But in terms of the physical aspects of your healing, focus on the positive, visualize, manifest that healed person, that health that you want. You know, if it's a chronic illness or something that has just popped up recently through COVID, you know, there's the physical aspect, of course, of good nutrition and eating well and eating organic foods and making sure that you're getting proper nutrition, which I also talk about in the book and how I went about that. But of course, there's the mind, emotional, mental health aspect, because it's all intertwined, right? It's very intertwined. And you have the power within yourself to overcome those feelings of fear and weakness and loneliness and the thoughts, the negative thoughts that tell you that you can't heal or that you can't get over your grief or you can't get over your ex-husband or you're not going to get this divorce over with, or that you feel abandoned by friends who've abandoned you in your hardest and most difficult time. And I know what that feels like too. So this is just the beginning of us talking about holistic healing. And I hope that this was helpful for you in so many ways. The course is available on the Institute on holisticwealth.com. It's available. It's 100% online. It's self-paced. So you can go through it at your own pace. There's no rush. And you can combine it with the certification program for those of you who are interested in pursuing holistic healing, pursuing holistic wealth as a side to your business or to offer it to your clients. It's a wonderful way to offer them that extra added, which is so important during this time. And so the book, the new and expanded version of Holistic Wealth, will be out on International Women's Day. That's March 8th, 2022. And the foreword was written by iconic actress Kelly Rutherford. And she is just amazing when talking about reclaiming your power and getting your power back after any life-altering setback. And you'll see it written in her foreword. And it's one of the best forewords I've read in a book anywhere. And I can attest to that. So pick up your copy, pre-order the book, get one for a friend or a couple of friends. You know, start a reading group and really delve into these things. There's so much we can do during this time to prepare us for a post-COVID life and to set ourselves up for a post-COVID life. So there's also new on my website on KeishaBlair.com. If you visit that website, we actually have the launch team page that's up. For those of you who want to help with the launch of the new and expanded Holistic Wealth and want to be on the launch team, we'd be happy to have you help. And there are lots of perks to helping. You know, you get free copies of the book, you get resources, free resources from the Institute on Holistic Wealth. So go on the website, it's KeishaBlair.com, and sign up to be a part of the launch team. It's going to be up there for a couple of weeks, so I'd advise you to go on right now, sign up to be a part of the launch team and access these free resources. And let's start this journey together in 2022 and end it well. I absolutely 100% believe that we can do this, that we can come out of this COVID disaster better than we were before. I've walked that journey before, and I know that I can walk it with you. And for those of you who are interested in one-on-one coaching, that's available on KeishaBlair.com in my calendar. If you look at the page on coaching, there's a coaching page there. You'll see that as well. So for this episode, I do hope you enjoyed it and you learned a bit about holistic healing this week. Do tell a friend about the podcast. Do tell a friend about the Institute and the work we're trying to do. And I hope you have a wonderful week ahead, a holistically wealthy week. And do feel free to reach out to info@KeishaBlair.com on any topics that you'd like us to cover, that you'd want me to go through personally. And I'll be happy to consider those. Goodbye again, and have a wonderful, holistically wealthy week. thank you for joining us this week on Holistic Wealth with Keisha Blair. Make sure to visit our website, KeishaBlair.com, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Spotify, or via RSS, so you will never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes, or if you simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. Are you a member of the Institute on Holistic Wealth? If not, what are you waiting for? Go to instituteonholisticwealth.com/memberships to choose your membership plan and join. As a member, you get so many perks. Free worksheets, advice, coaching, and a member's workshop to design an intentionally designed life. You need to figure out your life purpose? Take the Build Your Life Purpose Portfolio online self-paced course. You're struggling with all your money decisions? Take the free financial identities quiz and then take the course. You recently had a breakup, job loss, or experienced the death of a loved one? Take the Holistic Healing course. You need an overall plan to achieve holistic wealth? We will help you figure out your holistic wealth blueprint. And of course, if you want to start making money by helping others achieve holistic wealth, become a certified holistic wealth consultant. Regardless of what career you've got, the Institute will show you how to increase your income and walk in your purpose. The sooner you join, the sooner you start to achieve a more holistically wealthy lifestyle. And you're going to want to stay for a very long time. So go to instituteonholisticwealth.com/memberships to join. If you haven't read the book yet, pick up a copy of the award-winning, best-selling Holistic Wealth 32 Life Lessons to help you find purpose, prosperity, and happiness.